The Syrian.
It's not starting?
No,
Okay.
this one
Alright,
goes.
so let me go through. What's happening? Here. You said that. What you did? You started again? Yeah. I guess we're just gonna have to do that again. Okay. Hi guys, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulihi nabiyyi kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Jazakallahu khairan for coming on this rainy day. May Allah bless your studies. It really shows that you guys are really dedicated to the class and make it easy for you, inshallah. So with that being said, we're just going to review last week. Whatever we learned last week, we're going to go over some of the homework, and then we'll go right into today's lesson, which is pronouns. Okay. So last week we learned a couple things. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I really want to go over everything.
Yeah. If you could ask about specific ones. But before we go over the homework, I just want to go over the concepts that we learned last week. So the first thing we learned was feminine words because the Arab said so. So give me some of those feminine words.
Qamar.
Huh?
Qamar.
Qamar, moon, okay.
Shams.
Shams,
Wait, no, Qamar is masculine.
Qamar. Shams is feminine.
Shams is feminine.
Yeah, Qamar is masculine.
Is masculine.
No, I mean from the story.
Oh.
From the story.
The
Bi'it is a well, right? Remember his joke? Bi'it. What else?
Qamar.
Khama, okay. Just remember the story. So, quick.
Harb.
Yeah, so during the war, Harb, soldier was daydreaming and looking up at the sky. Sama, until the Shams came up. So Shams, Harb, Sama, Nafs is self, Now is fire, Dalwan is
Okay.
bucket, Tariq is path, Sabil
Also.
also path. Okay, Ard is earth, Rih is wind. Okay, so those are some of the words, right? And what's another category of feminine words?
Body parts.
Body parts in pairs. For example,
Eyes.
eyes, hands, ears, nose, no,
No, not
No,
nose.
not those.
nostrils,
Yeah.
nostrils, right? So udun, ears, hands is yad, ayn is eyes, shafa is lips, mirfaq is elbows. So you have two elbows, you have two of each, right? Nose is not it, you can say nostrils, and nose is anf, and not na. Okay. So next thing we learned, gender, right? So typically in Arabic, all words, what's the default gender?
Masculine.
Masculine. For example, Muslimun, right? You make Muslimun feminine by what? How do you make Muslimun feminine? Adding the ta, marbuta. Okay. And then there's how many types of feminine? Two types of feminine. Real feminine and fake feminine. Real feminine is what? Actual real woman like ummun, ukhtun, khala, right? Amma, auntie. All those are real feminine. A cow is a real feminine because of the ta marbuta. And because it's a living thing, right? So, for For example, a fake feminine. An example of a fake feminine with ta marbuta is like maghfirah. It's an abstract. So usually abstract ideas that have those like the ta marbuta, the alif maqsura, they're fake feminine, right? So maghfirah, rahma, those are fake feminine. Words with alif maqsura like bushra. Well, bushra is it could be a name, but it's also like good news. So bushra, it ends with alif maqsura. Husna, it ends with alif maqsura. So that's why it's a fake feminine. Words that end with alif and hamza, the elongated alif and hamza, they're fake feminine. For example, the colors, right? Bayda'u, feminine. Sawda'u, feminine. Right? Khadra'u, feminine. Zarqa'u, all feminine. Most of the colors, huh?
Are all colors feminine?
Are all colors feminine? No. Second thing was non-human broken plurals are feminine. Can someone tell me what is non-human broken plural? Al, Hulu, okay, that's non-human broken plural. But why is it fake feminine?
All broken plurals, not broken plurals.
All non-human broken plurals are feminine, right? Are human broken plurals feminine?
No, not always.
They can be, they may be. So they have a choice. So they can be feminine, like tilka rusul. So tilka is the feminine version, or you can have like haula'i rusul or ulaika rusul. Yeah.
Is it always one or the other, or like you can interchangeably?
For human broken plurals, you can pick. When Allah uses them in the Quran, there's reasons why He picks tilka or what. Or there's reasons why He picks plural, but we're not going to go into that.
Can you make sure they're transferred?
What?
Do it here.
So,
Also, guys, who are on the stream, if you have trouble seeing anything, we're using, just try to look at the handouts. The handouts are all on Dropbox already, even today's handouts. Right?
can you hear you?
Yeah, voice should be good.
Aren't all non-human plurals broken and not feminine? Aren't all non-human plurals broken or not feminine? All
Can you repeat it?
non-human plurals.
All non-human broken plurals,
No, just plurals.
non-human plurals.
Yeah, the feminine. Because I wanted to get a note so that.
Give me an example. Non-human plurals.
No, because the physics is like both.
No, I'm just saying because I read it in the notes. It was not like I came up with this. One of the notes from this class, on it says, which I have, day 3 class. Says, under the number page, all non-human plurals broken or not treated
Are treated as feminine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So arm is in there. I guess I'm just kind of re-verifying, re-confirming. So it said here, non-human broken plurals remain something.
Fully broken.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was broken or not.
Okay.
The other page.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So that's a recap of masculine and feminine. Any other questions? Does anyone have like issues with broken plural, non-human broken plural, broken plurals? Right.
Wait, so even if, okay, so the word lexical is considered feminine?
Yes. And you cannot make it plural. Like you can't use the plural word. Like remember how we said non-human broken, like human broken plurals, they can be plural or feminine.
No.
So that for human plurals.
Yeah. Yes. Remember, like rusul, it can be feminine
Okay.
and it can be plural.
Yeah.
So it can be when you change it to English, you can say she or them,
Okay.
right? But for kutub, you can't say them. You can only say she.
She.
Yeah. That's basically it. All right. Let's go to the homework. So page 17. Yeah.
Do you have additional notes for today? Yes.
Yeah, we have the handouts today. Where's the
Where are
handouts?
they?
Is it? Where's the handout?
Bye.
Okay. So first word, Nuhan. Who wants to do that? Oh, you didn't pick yourself? Okay. Nuhan.
Sorry, what number is that?
Number one.
Number one?
Number one, Nuhan. Status, number, gender type.
Oh.
Yeah, page 17. Nuhan. Status. Is it Rafa, Nasab, or Jar?
John?
Huh?
Jar.
Nuhan is Jar. Han.
I mean,
An.
also,
An. Remember? right? Also, three-letter words are fully flexible, so it could be nuhin. In this case, it's nuhan. That's why it's nasab. Number, singular. Okay, nuh is one person. Gender, masculine, right? Because it's a name and he's inherently masculine. And type, proper because, right? It's a proper name, pretty much. Okay. Ibrahima, number 5. Ibrahima, status, nasab or job, right? You don't know if it's job or nasab, but so we say both. Number, singular because one person. Gender, masculine, and type. Okay. Number 9, ummin, ummin. Okay. Singular, feminine, common. Okay. All right. What if I were to call like my mom? I'd say mom. Then it would be proper, right? When you're calling someone, when you make it specific, it becomes proper. Okay. Any like specific questions on the any, number 10. Zira'i. Zira'i. Okay. So status. Nasab or jar, right? Because is it light or heavy? Light. Okay. And number? Okay. Masculine. Common. Yeah. 11 and 12. Isa. Isa is what? It's not flexible, so you don't know if it's rafa, nasab, or jar. Number? Singular. Masculine. And Isa is a name. Proper. Okay. And number 12. Al-Fujjar. Al-Fujjari. Okay.
I wasn't sure if it was singular or plural.
Plural, right? Like you have kafirun and kuffar. Kuffar is
What's
plural.
the singular? What is it?
Al-Fujjar.
It means the immoral people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like the fajr.
إن الفجار لفي جحيم.
And type?
Master.
No, type.
Oh, sorry, a proper.
Proper because of alif lam. All right. Any other questions from the room? Yeah. 26. Yathriba. Yathriba.
Is that a place?
Yes.
So it's Nasab.
Okay.
Singular.
Nasab or?
Nasab or Jab.
Okay. Why is it nasab or jar?
Because of the place, so it only has 2 forms.
It's probably flexible.
Probably.
Okay.
So and singular and masculine and proper.
Singular, masculine, and proper because it's a place. Okay. Raji'un, 32. Raji'un, status. What's the status of Raji'un?
Nasab.
Raji'un, una, Muslimuna, Raji'una. Rafa. Rafa, right? Una, ina. Una is Rafa. Raji'un is Rafa. Number is plural. Gender, masculine type. Common. Okay. Any other questions?
41.
Al-Husna. Husna.
It's light, right?
Husna. Is it status? What's the status?
I don't know because I'm not sure.
It's not flexible, right? It ends with alif maqsura, right? Isa, Musa, Husna. Number.
Singular.
Okay. Gender.
Masculine.
Gender. Husna. Can you have a
okay.
guy named Husna? No. Husna is feminine because it has alif maqsura, right? Remember fake feminine, ta marbuta, alif maqsura, and the elongated alif with hamza. And type.
Proper.
Proper because of alif lam. Yeah. 57.
Is that the same thing? It's
Al-Ula. Okay. Yeah. Not flexible.
Because of the adversary.
So it can be either.
Singular.
Ula. Okay.
Feminine because of that adversary.
Mhm.
And proper because of that.
Proper because of alif lam. Okay. That's it. Any other questions?
Yeah, if you guys are on the stream and you want to ask questions, just feel free to do it to the chat. We set it up for a reason, so I'm asking questions. Also, if you can't see anything, you just type in the chat and you answer.
Okay. So today we're gonna go over pronouns, right? Pronouns. In English, what are the pronouns in English?
To, from,
Give me third person pronouns in English.
Okay.
He, she, they, them, right? And then second person is you, and the first person is I, we, me. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna type it here, and then you're gonna read it.
You want to send it into comments?
The partners?
Yeah.
Okay.
Show people the screen if they can see how.
Okay. What word is this?
Hua.
Hua. Okay. This one? Okay, sorry, hold on. Hua, and then we have, what's this?
Hua.
Huma, and then this. What is this? Yeah, hum. So hua, huma, hum. It's not working. All right. Hua, huma, hum. And then this one is Hiya. This one is Hun, hunna. What is your hunna? Hua, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Right? I want you to not look at the handout. So turn over your handouts. Turn it over. All right. So say it again. Hua, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. All right, I want you to say it 10 times. This is just like the Muslim chart. Right? So in this class, these are the two most important charts, the Muslim chart and the pronoun chart. So say hua, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. 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 Who knows it? Quickly, who knows it? No one? All right, we're gonna keep going. Hua, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. Hua, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. Hua, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. All right, anyone? Yeah. Okay, you looked at it, so someone say it. Okay, say it again. Hua, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. Hua, huma, hum. No. Hua, huma, hum. No, don't get tongue-tied. Hua, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Hua, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Okay, next one. This is second person. Anta. And then Antuma. And then Antum. So say Anta, Antuma, Antum. Anta, Antuma, Antum. Anta, Antuma, Antum. Alright, this is second person. Okay, Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, sorry. Anti, not auntie, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. Last one is Antun. Again, Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. Again, Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. Make sure you have to memorize this chart, because if you don't memorize this chart, we can't move forward. Right? If you don't memorize this chart, then the point of you being here, there's no point of you being here. Okay, you have to memorize the Muslim chart and this chart. So again, Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. Alright, say it on your own together. That's terrible. Again, Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. Again, this has shadda, right? Just like unna has shadda, this has shadda, so don't say antana, it's antunna, right? Make sure you hold the noon, antunna. Again, anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. Can I erase it? Or a few more times? Alright, a few more times. Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. All right. Who's gonna say it? Yeah. You're looking at it? No, from Anta. From Anta. From Anta. Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti. No, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. Remember? So what similarity do you see? The second for the dual, they're the same. So you have huma, huma, and then you have antuma, antuma. Right? Again, who knows it? You wanna try it?
Okay.
You're brave soul, you're the only guy here.
Yeah.
Anta?
Anta, Antum, Antuma, Antum,
Okay.
Anti, Antuma, Antuna.
Okay. Good. One more time. One more person. Whoa. Antuma? No. After her.
Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma.
Good. Again. Okay, you can go.
Anta, Antum, Antum.
No. Let's switch the dual and plural.
Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma, Antum.
Okay. So say together. Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. Anta, Antuma, Antum, Anti, Antuma, Antunna. Alright, from the top, from Huwa. Right? Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Anna, anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna. Again, huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna. Alright, who wants to try it from the top? Anta, anta, antuma, antum. Okay, good. Someone else. Yeah. Okay. One more person. Then we'll move on.
Okay.
No. Again, all right, let's sit together. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna. All right, don't say anta, anti. It's anta, antuma. So it's always singular, dual, plural. Anta, antuma, antum. And then anti, antuma, antunna. All right. So let's say anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. Anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. All right, the last one, ana, nahnu. Ana, nahnu. What is ana? Me or I? I. Nahnu? We, like Nintendo Wii? No, we, as in WE. It's not us, it's we. Ana and nahnu. Say it again. Ana, nahnu. Okay, from anta. Anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. Anta. Again, guys, you have to say it because you don't know yet.
Like all at once.
Yeah, you can look at it now.
No, I mean, like, can you say all three of the words at a time?
Okay, so huwa, huma, hum, iya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. Again, huwa, huma, hum, iya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. Again, huwa, huma, hum, iya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. Again, okay. One more time. Huwa, huma, hum, iya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. Right. Who wants to say it? From the top. From huwa.
Can we just try to just read it?
Huh?
Can we just try to read it off of him?
Well, you have to memorize it, right?
Yeah, but.
Turn it over,
wait,
turn it over.
that's-
Turn it over. We're going to do this the whole class. So get used to it. Yes. Mhm. Don't show it to her.
Right? Anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antina,
Okay.
ana.
Takbir. One more person. From huwa. Not you.
Huwa, huma, hum. Huwa,
Oh man. You made the masculine feminine.
huwa, huma, hum. Yeah.
No, huwa, huma, hum.
Huwa, huma, hum.
No.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no huna. Huna is here.
Huwa, huma, hum. Yeah, huma, huma. Anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna.
Okay. Good. Okay. Who wants to try it? As they're saying it, repeat it in your head so you know it. One more person, come on.
Very religious.
Who wants to do it? No one?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Huwa,
No problem. That's how you learn.
yes. Okay. Huwa, huma, hum. Yeah, huma, hum, humna.
Mhm.
Anta, antum, antum.
Anta. Say anta.
Anta, antum,
Antuma.
antuma, and then antum.
Uh-huh.
Anti, antuma, antum,
Antunna.
antunna.
Right, so it's hunna and then antunna for plural feminine.
Antunna, and
Ana, nahnu. Alright. So say it again. Huwa, huma, hum. No, again. Huwa, huma, hum. Iya, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna. Ana, nahnu. Again. Huwa, huma, hum. Iya, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna. Ana, nahnu. Okay, so if you look at your sheet, it has the meanings of each of the pronouns, right? Huwa is what? No, huwa is he, right? Huma is both of them, and hum is they. Iya is she. Huma is both of them. What? Feminine, right? Both of them feminine, and hunna is they, feminine. Okay, so if you have three girls in a group and one guy, is it huma? Do you use hum or hunna? Hum, right? And if you have all girls in a group, you use hunna. What if you have one guy and one girl? One guy and one girl. Uma. Okay. It's the same for both of them. All right. Anta is what? Anta is you. Antuma is both of you, and antum is meaning. What does it mean? You all, right? All of you, y'all. Okay. Anti. What's anti? You feminine. Okay. Antuma. Both of you is feminine, and antunna, y'all feminine. Okay. So I guess we'll break for salah, inshallah, and then Ammar will continue. Make sure you memorize the chart. He's gonna do it for another hour.
Great.
All right. I think this one's screen from on your face. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. All right. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Yeah, it was on. It's one big video.
Started 2, 3. Yeah, barely.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, they said well, I got
Okay, so, yeah, it is really. Yeah, I know. What it is. He's born raised in New York. Oh, my mom, born raised in Saudi Oh, you said Hamilton. And that means I like. And a big beat, that's all. Big beat. I think in this conference, I don't really. So we can wait to say. Yeah. You speak to me. Just well, to you, because I'm really used to speaking. You didn't understand it. And if you do more of those, said more about what I said. Because. Okay, that's cool. So how would you say that to Oh, it's really interesting.
Okay, so guys, Vasi was going over the different pronouns. Before we move further, inshallah, I need you to start repeating them quickly. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي All right, let's go.
هو
Let's pronouns one more time without looking at them. Close your eyes.
minimize.
Put them towards the. No, this is like shit. No, it's supposed to be like a disaster. It's supposed to be okay, but like they're not supposed to. Yeah, supposed to fight it. هو وما هم هي وما هن أنت أنتم 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 Okay. All you guys have it. All right. Who? Oh, by the way, how many words are these? Can't really see the bottom. By the way, guys, sorry for the screen. Zainab, who's in our class, failed us miserably, so that's why the screen isn't working. So anyone's watching. Yeah, I think he's not. Okay. So how many words? How many words do we have?
14.
14 words, right? So the last lesson we did, last class was over what? Anyone remember? Like, I probably forgot already. I forgot already, so I need to be reminded.
Proper.
Last class we did common and proper. And I told you that there's how many types of things that are proper? Comes out of nowhere, right? I said I won't teach you common, but I'll teach you proper. And in the proper, there was 7 things, right? One of them was what? We just did it today, or Wasi just did it today. Pronouns. One of them was pronouns. What were the other 6 things?
Names.
Come on, quickly. What were the other 6 things?
Names of people.
Names of people.
Names of places.
I mean, that's all names to me.
Okay.
Names is names. Okay, names. Come on. What was proper? What was proper? Think.
Pointing words.
Pointing words.
Gender. The word.
Gender was proper. Gender was proper. Okay, you feel touched. Okay, what else?
Words before of.
What about the? It's not just words before of. There's something about it. You're missing a puzzle piece. What about when I say
If the
hey?
word before of is proper, and the word after of is proper.
No, it's the other way around.
Okay. So
The word after of is proper than the word before of is proper. What about when I call someone? Like, hey, Wasi, get over here.
that's
No,
proper.
I'm just kidding. Keep still. What about that?
That's also proper.
That's also proper. What about alladhi, alladhina? Those words are in the Quran, right? You haven't heard them before. Because no one uses them anymore today. I'll tell you that. Unless you do Quran. Right? Anyways, so the last one was that if the word after of is proper, then the word before of will also be proper. Okay, now, so inshallah, I'm gonna go through the pronouns. Wasi already went through them pretty well. So you guys should be on page 18. You shouldn't be looking at the gray boxes right now. We're only looking at the white boxes. The white boxes. Okay? Now, huwa, obviously we said it's he. We said it's he, right? We don't say we don't say him or his. We say he. Okay? We say he. Huma means both of them, male, or one man and one female can also be huma, right? So huma is 2 guys. 2 guys or 1 guy, 1 girl, 2 guys. As long as it's one of them is a guy, it's fine, right? Now, when you take the alif off of huma, it becomes what? Becomes hum, which means what?
They.
They more than 2. Okay. So huma is 2, hum is they, plural, right? Hiya means she. Hiya means she. Huma, you guys already know. Hunna, they, girl, girly they, she they, she. I don't know, whatever helps you remember. Right. We don't really have an English term for it, right? Because usually if I was speaking English, I would say they and they. But in Arabic, they have a specification, right? Arabic is a very specific language. So I would say they girls, them girls. I would say these guys, whatever, right? Okay. Anta is it's the bros. Anta Kareem, Anta Abdullah, Anta Hakim, Anta whatever you want, right? Anta is for the dudes. Antuma. Now, what do we say? The ma adds a what? Antuma. You too. Not to be confused with the website. Antum. Y'all. All y'all. Use in Brooklyn, if you're from Brooklyn, use. Right? Anti. Anti. You girl. You go girl. You know. You she. close to sushi. I don't know. Okay. What else? What else? Entuma. Entuma. Both y'all girls. Both y'all girls. Right? So if I'm talking to Fatima, I'll say, or Fatima and Zainab, then I'll say Entuma. If I'm talking only to Zainab, I'll say Enti. Will fail. If I, what about Entunna? Entunna. Y'all sisters. Y'all sisters. Y'all women. All y'all women. Right? So, okay, Enta. What does Enta mean again?
You, male.
You, male. You guy. Okay. Now, there's also Anna. There's also Anna. Let's talk about Anna. Anna means not me, but I. Right? Anna means I. Nahnu is not just us, but we. So Nahnu specifically means we, right? Not Nintendo Wii. Okay, not Nintendo Wii. Sorry, just like the joke. It was good. So don't say like you're playing Nintendo Wii and then Nintendo Anna, and then you got a text on your Nintendo Nintendo Nahnu, and you got a text on your NF phone. Okay, don't say something that's weird. Okay. All right. So now, interesting question, right? How come we say huwa, which meant what again? He. How come we said huwa for Allah? How come we said huwa for Allah? Does anyone know the answer? Right. So Allah. The word Allah and also Allah is neither a male or a female, right? So that's, huwa in the Arabic language, automatically what did we say? We said that every word in the Arabic language is automatically what? Masculine unless proven feminine. So in the same way, huwa, if it doesn't necessarily need to have a biological gender. Doesn't need to have a biological gender, therefore, by default, we say huwa. Huwa. So huwa is like a neutral word in Arabic. It can be used neutrally, right? The more charged word would be here. More charged word would be here, right? So, but this is actually a problem. Remember, like one of our goals is that we want to get annoyed at translation, right? So this is a problem in English because you say he is Allah, right? In English we have he, we have she. We have it. It is the one that's general. The word it is the one that we have that is gender neutral. But we can't say it. It doesn't really. It doesn't really dignify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? We can't say it's. Usually we use it for something inanimate. Like it's there. Unless you don't like someone, like it's sitting over there. What is it doing here? I don't know. If you don't like someone, maybe you can say it like that, right? But we can't use that word for Allah. So the Arabic language dignifies the word Allah and uses it with huwa. So just something interesting to know. So that's why, we wouldn't say the word Allah is male, but we would say it's masculine. That sounds more linguistic, I guess. All right, so we have the meanings, inshallah. So I'm gonna go through the. So now don't be looking at the chart. I'm just gonna say the words, and you're gonna tell me the meanings after. Okay? Huwa is what? Huwa, huma, hum. Come on, guys, I'm dying. I need juice. I didn't even have breakfast. I need some juice. Someone, please. Before I die, please. They, masculine, what else? Hiya.
She, singular.
Huma. Hunna. Not y'all girls, because y'all girls would be Entunna. Y'all girls would be Entunna. I lived in Dallas for a year, so I'm from North Carolina, so I know the Southern dialect very well. But yeah. Okay, Enta, Antuma, Antum, Tradesi, Antum. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know, then don't worry about it. Okay, now, the first day of class, when you were much younger than you are now, I told you that there were how many forms of status? 4. Allahu Akbar. How many forms of status were there? First day of class, how many forms of status were there? Come on, people. Rise from the graves. The day of judgment is not even here, but come on, let's go. 4, 3, I don't know. We're having
Number, status, I mean.
No, the forms. How many forms of status? Forms of status.
Oh, three.
Three forms of status, right? And then I told you that there's ways of telling status. There's ending sounds and ending combinations. What would sound like millennia ago, right? But I remember I told you, I said, ending sound and ending combination are two ways to tell status. But there's also a third one. Remember I said there's a third one. We'll talk about it later. Because right now you're a baby. Now you're like a teenager, so we gotta have the talk. Okay, so we're gonna have the talk right now. Okay, so the third point is that pronouns are weird. Okay, pronouns are weird. They don't care about ending sounds, ending combinations. They're weird. Okay, so write this down on page 18. Pronouns are strange. They don't care about ending sounds or ending combinations. Okay, so the pronouns we learned: huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana. Right? All those pronouns are weird because they don't follow ending sounds or ending combinations. If I were to say anta before I taught you, and you would be like, oh, it must definitely be nasab because I see an alif after it. And now I will tell you that you are most definitely wrong. But inshallah, you will not. Okay? So, now, without teaching you, I haven't taught you status of the pronouns yet. But without teaching you any of that, I want to know what is the number, gender, and type of entuma. Let's say it's the masculine one on the masculine row. Entuma. I say entuma. I say okay. Status you haven't learned yet. So that's the third thing. But what about number, gender, and type? Number is dual. Gender is what? Masculine. Type is what? No. Remember what were the things that were proper? The pronouns are proper. The pronouns are always proper. So automatically, I don't even need to tell you. Anytime you see a pronoun in the Quran or anywhere, and in the Arabic language, it is always proper, without exception. Without exception, pronouns are always proper. 3 properties: number, gender, type. I went through that. Quickly. Let's go. Let's start with type. Come on. I just told you. Proper. Masculine or feminine? Feminine. Singular, pair, or plural? Okay. So now, without even knowing the meaning, I mean, just because you know the meaning, you already know 3 properties. 3 properties are done. So the only thing left is status for the pronouns, right? Now I said these guys, they don't care about ending sounds. They don't care about any combinations. So what do they care about? Let me solve the mystery for you. Okay? The pronouns Arasi made you memorize, in which there's no harm of saying them again, but you're probably tired of saying them. Every single person will be tested about these pronouns before they leave today. Every single person. For the Muslim chart and for the pronoun chart. So better start cramming now. Okay, I'm just kidding. So we'll just see the next class, not this class. Next class. Okay. Now, all of the pronouns are rafa. All of the pronouns are rafa. What is the status of all the pronouns? Rafa. Remember guys, we're only on the white boxes right now. We are not looking at the gray boxes. We are only looking at the white boxes. So I'm talking about the white boxes. Now, when I talk about the white boxes, I'm saying all those pronouns are rafa. I don't care how they sound. Huwa is rafa. Hiya is rafa. Antuma is rafa. Antunna is rafa. Okay? Anti ends with E, but it's still rafa. All of those pronouns in the white boxes are rafa, automatically. So you're reciting Quran, you come across one of these words, right? And you ask yourself, I wonder what status this word's in. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Huwa. You're gonna be like, man, I really wonder. Like, I wish I didn't fail that day. I can probably remember. I really wonder what status it's in. I wonder. I don't know. Someone help me. Rafa. Automatically Rafa. يا إبراهيم أنت فعلت هذا. أنت فعلت هذا. What?
What if something like قال موسى له?
Okay, we're gonna get to it. Calm down. Yeah. Kentucky Derby is, I don't know what the Kentucky Derby is. Calm down. We're gonna get in trouble. All right. إنا نحن نزلنا الذكر. إنا نحن is in what status? Status, number, gender type, quickly. We, us, I don't know. Come on. Huh? Status is Rafa. Number is gender is, well, type is what? Right. Also known as Surah Taha, Inni ana Allahu, Inni ana Allahu, Inni ana Allahu. What is that? Ana. I. Is it proper, common, promin? I don't know, what is it? Okay, so now we have the forms of status. We know the forms of status of Rafa, or Nasb, or Jar. And we know that all pronouns in the white boxes are automatically Rafa. And now you say to yourself, I wonder how you make a pronoun Nasb or Jar. Right? So how do you take a pronoun and make it Nasb or Jar? That's what our next job is. Our next job is to figure that out. So listen carefully. Huwa has a cousin. Huwa has a cousin. Huma has a cousin. Hum has a cousin. Each one of them have cousins. And sometimes cousins look a lot like you. Unfortunately or fortunately, right? And sometimes cousins look a little bit like you. And sometimes cousins are really like, really? That's your cousin? I can't believe you turned out normal. Right? What happened to you? Okay? Maybe that's your cousin. Okay. The point is that cousins are similar, right? Some are similar, some are different. So listen. Huwa's cousin is who? Huwa's cousin is who? Huma's cousin is Huma. We're in the gray boxes, by the way. Huma's cousin is Huma. Hum's cousin is Hum. So somebody comes over to you and you say, who's here? And you say, well, who? And you're like, well, who? And you're like, who? Who's here? Because he's my cousin. You know what I'm talking about? Right? So Huma has a cousin. Kia has a cousin. She laughs a lot. She's called Ha. He has a cousin. Hunna has a cousin. Hunna. Hunna has a cousin. So can you tell me the words with their cousins? I'll say the word and you tell me their cousin, okay? Huwa is who. Huma is. is. Kia is. Huma is. Hunna is. Okay. Now, then we have anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antum, right? Now, all of their cousins start with a K, like K for cousin. If you're from the Bronx, okay? Sorry to stereotype you from the Bronx. I went to by the way, I have a lot of African American friends. It's not that I stereotype. I went to a really inner city middle school, and they became some of my best friends. So I learned like that. And in fact, African American vernacular is actually a linguistically, it's actually a language identified by linguists. So it's nothing about making fun of people. Okay. Oh, by the way, which reminds me, actually, I sent out a feedback form last week. We got some interesting responses. Some of them which were praising our physical appearances. Others which were saying that some people happened to be offended by some of the things you said. So we wanted to apologize. And we wanted to say that in case you got offended from anything we said, we sincerely apologize and we don't mean it, inshallah. So please forgive us and make dua for us. And anything that good that comes out is always from Allah, and obviously the mistakes are always ours. Okay? So just want to make that clear, inshallah. Thank you for whoever was praising me. I really appreciate it, inshallah. I didn't tell my mom though, so don't worry. Okay, now anta becomes ka. Becomes ka. So all these guys with the K cousins, they all try to rhyme, right? So anta becomes ka, anti becomes kuma, antum becomes kum. Antum becomes kum. Antunna becomes kunna. Antuma becomes kuma. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking the last part of the word, taking the ta off, and putting the ka. Right? So I'm thinking about the ending of the word, and I discovered the cousin magically. Right? So huwa is what? Okay, don't look at the sheets now. Don't look at the sheets. Don't look. Come on. Let's just think. Remember, it's not just memorization. We have to analyze. We have to allow the information to soak in. Okay? Huwa is what? Who? Huma is what? Hum is what? Hiya is what? Huma is what? Hunna is what? Anta is what? Antuma is what? Antum is what? Anti. Antuma. Antunna. Okay. Now, 2 words left. Ana. Right? Ana. I have 2 cousins. Okay? I have 2 cousins. I'm the only one who has 2 cousins. Ana, the only one who has 2 cousins. Okay? Their names are Ni and E. Ni and E. So who are my 2 cousins? Ni and E. And Nahnu's cousin is very negative. He's not. Right? He's not. Right? So Ana's cousins are who? Ni and E. And Nahnu's cousin is? Na. Okay. So let's start over. Let's recite the pronouns without the cousins first. Then we'll add in the whole family. Okay? We'll stop at each one and then we'll add in the cousins. Okay? So huwa. All right, we have to say it together, guys. All right, ready? Huma, huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, kunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, anta. Okay? Now I'm going to stop at the words and you're going to tell me the attached pronoun. I mean the cousin. Oops. Huwa. Huma. Hum. Hiya. Huma. Hunna. Anta. Antuma. Kuma. Does anyone say Kima? Leave that at home, okay? You guys gotta get used to my lame jokes, okay? Antum. Anti. Antuma. Antunna. Ana. E or. And then Nahnu is. Okay. So, alhamdulillah, you guys got that down. It is memorization, but you gotta pay attention to the endings, right? So the original ones that we said that were in the white boxes, we said that they were all what status? We said they were what? Rafa status. Now, the cousins are all nasab or jar. So if you want to use nasab or jar, you got to go with the cousins. Unfortunately. Or fortunately, right? Now, these guys and their cousins, they're a huge family. They're on every single page of the Quran. Every single page of the Quran. Them and their cousins. You're gonna find them. They're just a big family, you know. Even the Fatiha didn't leave them alone. Right? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka is what? Iyaka is what? I said the cousin. You gotta tell me what the original is. Iyaka. What about ihdina? Ihdina. Ihdina. We. What's the original, guys? Nahnu. Nahnu. Now, I don't want to go too further because it will get a little complicated. But let's try. Inna. Inna, usually they combine and say inna, right? But inna a'tainaka al-kawthar. So you gotta tell me. Inna is what? We. Inna a'tainaka. Ka. You what? I mean, yeah, I know that, but I'm saying, what is the original? The original, yeah.
And
Yeah, and desert. That's the one. Okay, so the ones in the white boxes, these are what we call independent pronouns, right? You've already learned them. You've already learned that independent pronouns are rafa. Independent pronouns are always rafa. And the cousins are called attached pronouns. And they're actually not called cousins. Okay, that's just something I made up. Make it easy. But they're called attached pronouns. And attached pronouns are always nasab or jar. Okay, so huwa, nasab or jar version is who, right? One is independent and the other is attached. Because they're always attached to what? Another word. I would have never guessed it. They're called attached because they're always attached to another word. Let's see. Let's open up the one. Let's go to Of course, we're not going to use translation because stuff for long. Okay, we don't need this anymore. Okay. Yes, yes. Okay. Okay, yeah. الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور ثم الذين كفروا بربهم him. Now, this is something we have to get to. Him. What do we say the attached version of home was? Home. Sometimes home is in a really good mood. Okay? Sometimes they're all in a really good mood and they change to him. So when he's in a good mood, he smiles and he says him. When he's in a bad mood, he says home. Okay, so but either way, whether it's home or him, it's nasab or jar. Always. Doesn't make a difference. It's just a matter of which one it is. Okay? Now, same thing, right? And even in Fatiha. غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ. There's no difference. There's actually another recitation of the Quran, which is authentic, which is عَلَيْهُمْ غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ. That's also one of the recitations, but obviously we're not scholars of recitation, so we can't say that one. But the one that we do know, which is Hafs, which is the most popular, alayhim, we always say alayhim, just because him likes to be happy. And you ask yourself, well, why does him like to be happy? Why can't it always be home? Why can't hunna always be hunna and not hinna and all that stuff? Well, the truth is that the Arabs actually are very obsessed with sound. They're like obsessed with how things sound. Seriously, they're like obsessed with it. Like back in the day, they wanted everything to be like off the chain. They wanted it to be amazing. Everything would be like, they had hip hop even before hip hop was like, before anything in New York ever came out, right? Like Arabs, they were like the real ones, like spitting rhymes, right? So they wanted things to flow smoothly, really smooth. So whenever generally you'll find if it goes into a kasra, it'll always be him or hinna instead of hunna, right? Just because it just flows better. That's really the main reason. Okay. So even though rabbihum, that works, but rabbihim, we want to go with rabbihim, right? And we'll discuss all these meanings later. Okay. So now, I want you to find me a pronoun on the screen from Surah Al-An'am.
I have two personal.
Okay, find an attached pronoun. Let's see if you can find an attached pronoun. This is, yeah. Hold on one second. She has a question. Oh, okay, sorry. Go ahead. You just shouted out, honestly. So who did he create? You all. Okay, by the way, guys, I gotta tell you something. Whenever an attached pronoun is attached to an ism, whenever an attached pronoun is attached to an ism, it is always jar. Always. Remember we said there's 3 types of words in Arabic. Remember? We said that, so pronouns can attach to isms, fi'als, and harf, but we haven't studied fi'als and harfs. Right now we're on ism. So whenever a pronoun attaches to an ism, it is always jab. Always. Always. Okay? So, how do you differentiate between the words? How do you know it's feminine, ism, right? I don't know. How do you know? Right? So I'll tell you a small joke, right? So there's this guy. He had an uncle. He had an uncle in Pakistan, right? I'm from Pakistan, so I like telling jokes about Pakistan. So this guy, he had an uncle who was from Pakistan. Didn't really call him much. Never really kept in touch, right? Then one time out of the blue, he just called him. Or one time out of the blue, actually, he emailed him first. He emailed him first. He was like, "Yo, beta, I want to get in touch with you, you know, whatever." So then they talked on the phone. And then, you know, the uncle, he was like, "Yaar Amar, you're in America, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in America, yeah." And he's like, well, I mean, he already knew, but he's just asking anyway. They're weird, right? So he's like, you know what? I've been looking for this actor. He comes in every movie, but I don't know what his name is. I just can't find him. I cannot find his picture anywhere. But he's in every single movie I've seen. And I'm like, hey, who is he? What's his name? And he's like, he's very famous. You don't know? No, I don't know. Tell me. His name is The End. The End. The End. Right? So the point is that every feed help, it's the end. He puts it together, right? Puts it together, the end, puts it together, right? How are you supposed to know that that's two words, right? He, because obviously he's a fox, so he doesn't know, but how are you supposed to know that's two words? Because you have to learn the attached pronouns. So the attached pronouns are always attached to something else, right? So even though you might not know what kitab means, you know what kum means. So, you know, these words should pop out to you. You should be like, oh, I know what that is, I know what this is, I know what that is. And they're on every page of the Quran. So whatever Quran you memorize, whether it's Fatiha or Baqarah or like Wasi or Hafid, you know that you'll find these everywhere. You'll find these everywhere. Every single page. So I think one thing would be cool, you can just, you know, look for them, right? Okay, let's continue. Let's see. Something that I like.
Sirra.
Huh?
Sirra.
No, it's oh, B-A-D-him. 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 Highlighted. B-A-D-him. B-A-D-him. Okay? A-D-him means hands. Means hands. B-A-D-him. B-A-D-him. Now, I want to know what is the status of him. If you know him, you don't know, right? You know him. So what is the status of him? A-D-him. I mean, it can't be Rafa, because we said it's not an independent pronoun. It would be home, right? It would be an entire home by itself. It's attached to something, so you automatically know you have two choices. Nasl or jar. And I already told you that when it's attached to an ism, it does automatically what? Jar. Okay, so you know it's jar. Right? You know it's jar. So status, you got number, AD him, gender. Right? All pronouns are what? Proper. Okay, so now, on page 18, we have all, the page with the gray and white boxes. You guys are inshallah, your goal is you got to go home and you got to drill yourself like a drill sergeant. You have to act like a drill sergeant lives with you, and you got to drill yourself and you have to know these front and back, inshallah, right? And remember, the Arab says that the knowledge is in the chest, not on the paper. So you can have the paper with you, but this is very, very important in our journey. So you have to go home, you have to practice on the subway, and maybe annoy the guy beside you and be like, hey man, how's it going? And be like, why are you talking to me? And like, right? And then you'll be like, yo, what's up with this guy? You know? If that's what it takes, then please be my guest and call me when the NYPD arrests you. I'll tell you up. Don't worry about it. Okay? Yeah, and also don't take the cousin thing too far, right? It's just a cute way to explain. Okay. Don't be asking me like, where the cousin is from the Mamu side or Chachu side or whatever. I don't want to. It's not too far. Okay. So Let's see. Oh, guys, remember we defined an ism. What was an ism again? It was a person, place, thing, idea, adjective, adverb, and more. Okay, so the cousins are called attached pronouns. How many kinds of words are there in Arabic? How many kinds of words are there in Arabic? 3. So, like I said before, the attached pronouns, it could be on all 3 of these words. But you won't know, because you don't know fa'il or harfi, right? So don't worry about them. Don't ask questions about the ones you don't know right now. Just watch. Okay? So, by the way, I already know what some of the questions are going to be, so pay attention closely, okay? So, I'm going to start with, but it's something pretty cool to check out. Okay. We're going to start with,
You're better off making that illustrator.
Huh?
You're better off making that.
Want to do it for me, I guess. Okay, so we're going to start out with the word masjid. And I'm going to make the word masjid obviously rafa. I made it rafa, masjidu, right? Now, it's not a rule for me to make it masjidu, or, generally we should say what word should be what by default? Heavy, right? You guys remember that? Yeah. Right? But inshallah, you should be skinny, you should work out, right? So, try to, inshallah. Try to be healthy, right? Not necessarily skinny, work out. Okay, so we said masjidu. It's light only for this lesson. Masjidu. Masjidu. What status is it in? Now, I did something very unusual to masjidu. Words are by default are supposed to be heavy. And I made it light. Well, why did I make it light? Oh, yeah, I mean, that's how I made it light. That's how I made it light. But I did this. Normally, it's supposed to be heavy, right? Now, pay attention. I said masjiduhu. Masjiduhu. Which cousin did I use? Which cousin did I use?
The form of who?
What does huwa mean? Masjiduhu means his masjid. Means his masjid. Is there another way of saying that in English? His masjid? I don't know. I think masjid of his. Masjid of his. So the word his is in what status? Jar, because it's masjid of, whatever comes after of is in what status, guys? Jar. Wow, incredible, amazing. Where are the fireworks? I don't know, okay? So, the attached pronouns are always jar. You learned that they can be nasab or jar, right? But what did I tell you? Which you won't forget ever, is that when they're attached to an ism, they're always going to be jar. Always have to be jar, okay? Now, also, on page 18, you should write this, that if you see an attached pronoun attached to an ism, it must be after of. It must be after of. So it's jar, which means it's something of something, right? So you're going to have to find that meaning, right? That's what you're writing. So we said masjiduhu, masjid of his, or his masjid. How do you say both of theirs masjid? Both of theirs masjid. Both of theirs masjid.
Yeah.
What?
Why
are you like not saying masjiduhuma, right? Masjiduhuma. Right? We're keeping it light. I haven't told you why yet, but we're still keeping the sound at the end. How do I say her masjid? Her masjid. Her masjid, but I want masjid to be in nasb. Masjid to be in nasb. I want masjid to be in nasb, but has an attached pronoun, so it's a different word. Remember? So, her masjid. I want masjid to be in nasb, but I want to say her masjid. Masjid of hers, but I want it to be in nasb. No, I want the word masjid to be in nasb.
You said you wanted to translate her masjid, but have it in nasb?
No, okay, look, what did I say? I said any word that's attached to an ism is automatically what? Jar. But that's attached pronouns. But I'm telling you, keep the word masjid in nasb. Masjidaha, masjidaha, right? So masjidiha, masjadaha, masjaduha, right? They're all the same thing. Except masjid is different. Masjid is, the status is changed, right? So we can't attach, we can't ever say masjidu huwa or masjidu, or masjidu antunna, like something like that, right? We can never attach the independent version, ever. Okay? So, your masjid. You're talking to a guy. Your masjid. Masjiduka. Sure. We can also say masjidaka or masjidika, right? Depends what status is, right? Now, what if I say our masjid? Our masjid. Masjidina, masjiduna, right? Now, we've learned that the isms only like the cousins, right? The isms only like the cousins. Anna has how many cousins? 2. The isms only like the E. They don't like the ni. Isms only like E. Isms only like E. They don't like, they don't like me. They do not like me. That's another attached pronoun. It might be used in other words like fi'ls or harfs, which we haven't learned yet. But so far, for isms, they only like what? E. They don't like me. Okay? So don't say masjiduni, say masjidi. Okay, masjidi. If you want to say my masjid, you would say masjidi, my masjid. Okay? Is that clear, guys? Now, how can you tell me, how do we say our religion? Our religion. Religion means, religion is deen. Deen. Our religion. Our religion. Deenina. Deenina. Deenana. Deenuna. All of them are fun. You can alter the, remember, what I'm changing is the status of the word deen. Right? So deen could be detail, after of, it could be whatever, right? But the pronoun is always jab. The pronoun at the end is always jab. It's always jab. How do I say my house? My house. Yeah, this is my house. You know? Beiti. Beiti, man. You know what I'm saying? So, when you're playing basketball, you just put it on somebody and be like, the Beiti. It's my house. Right? I'll teach you some Arabic trash talk later, okay? Yeah, Ibn. Son. Okay? So, now, go to page 24 in the handout from today. And you're going to help me out because I'm extremely incompetent. You are going to help me out. Page 24. I want you to identify what's going on. Now, you're going to tell me what the pronoun is. Anfusakum. Anfusakum. I wonder. Your? I don't know. Your?
Yes.
Your could be my your or her your. I don't know. I need more details.
Oh, plural here.
Plural what? Plural. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you positive?
No.
Oh, is anyone here positive? I'm negative. I'm negative blood types. What? Yourselves. All of yourselves. All of yourselves. All of yourselves. Belhuyukum. Belhuyukum. All y'all's rebelling. Shades rebellion. Right? All y'all's rebellion. We're not focusing on what the meaning of the word is, the first word. We're focusing on what the last, what the attached, what's going on at the end. Right? So even if we don't know what's going on, at least we can see it belongs to someone. Something of his or hers or theirs or them's or I don't know, whatever. Right? So even through this, we have so much power. This is going to be a really, really important tool. for us to analyze stuff. Now, let's go to شركاء. إحداهن 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 إحداهن. Someone tell me. Come on. Okay, go ahead. Goes in. One of them what? One of them failed. One of them what? I just messed with you. Huh? One of them feminine. One of them feminine. Okay. صدقاتهن صدقاتهن. Be careful now. We're not talking about charity. We're not talking about charity. Allah says in the Quran, وَآتُوا النِّسَاءَ صدقاتهن نحلة نحلة. Says give the women their mandatory marriage gifts. Give the women their mandatory marriage gifts. Nihlatan, happily, excitedly, right? Sadaqah is charity. Saduqa is mandatory. Saduqa is mandatory, right? So this is the ayah about mahr, if you guys know what mahr is, right? It's the thing that makes some of the guys cry when you get married. So the Quranic word for mahr is saduqa. Saduqa. وَآتُوا النِّسَاءَ صَدُقَاتِهِنَّ نِحْلَةً. Give the women their saduqat. See? صَدُقَاتِهِنَّ. Give the women marriage gifts of theirs. Give it to them nicely. نِحْلَةً. In other words, don't be like, hey, take it, man. For the one guy who's here, two guys that are here in the bed. Right? Don't be like that. Give it to them nicely. Give it to your future spouses nicely, right? Because that, if you don't, then you're violating nihla. Nihla. You have to give it to her happily. So don't be sad afterwards, like after giving like all the money away, or, like the gift away, and she's gonna be like, I thought you loved me. It's all about the money, isn't it? And you'd be like, yep. Right? You can't be doing any of that stuff. Right? But this ayah is actually really beautiful because it prevents men from being grimy, pretty much. Prevents men from being grimy, right? فَإِنْ قِلَّ لَكُمْ عَنْ نَفْسٍ مِّنْهُ شَيْئًا. That if out of their own goodwill, that the women didn't suggest it or hint at it, right? Let's say, after all these years pursuing whoever you're trying to get married to, if you're a guy, if you're like that, you negotiate and you're like, all right, well, give the mahr in monthly payments. Yeah, it's too expensive for me. What? So I'll give like $1,000 every month, but don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. Well, I was trying to make a statement here, right? And if, let's say you say you're getting married, you give your wife a gift. You give her like $1,000, right? Give her $1,000. She takes $5 out of it, and she's like, "Go get yourself an ice cream," right? Or something like that. And you're like, "What? No, woman, I ain't taking your money. I ain't taking that money." You can't be like that, right? You gotta actually take it. You gotta take it. Hani'an mari'an. Literally, Allah says, "Gulp it down. Gulp that money down, happily, happily." Hani'an, as usually it's used in mentioned with food, right? So food goes down easily. And mari'an is like the canal, goes from here all the way to the belly, right? So in English, when you say like, "I hit the spot, man," like that salan or that hummus or whatever, hit the spot, right? You'll say, "Kulu hani'an mari'an," right? Okay. So, but that's a kind of a tragedy in the Muslim community. Unfortunately, some people think of the sadaqat as sadaqat. Should not be. It's not how it should be. Okay. Now, amali. How come ni wasn't used? How come ni wasn't used? I wonder. How come ni wasn't used? I thought ni was one of the cousins.
But it's only like E.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so amali, what does it mean? Amali. Work. Work is an idea, right? Doesn't like me. Rabbika. Your Lord, your wife. I actually don't like Lord. I prefer master. Should I say why I like master?
Why?
because a lot of our English translations are pretty old, right? So Lord, even though technically it suffices, I mean, in a more applicable meaning in modern English, Lord has particular connotations, and I think we have to be sensitive to connotations in the times we live, because English is constantly changing, right? We have to communicate with each other in modern English. So if you want to use modern English, you have to use something that doesn't necessarily have those same connotations. So the word Lord, as far as our youth are concerned, when they hear Lord, they usually think of like Lord of the Rings, or I don't know what. He who shall not be named. They pass by a church, right? And then especially I'm from the South, right? So I know, like, in the southern U.S., the word Lord has a really like dominant Christian connotation, right? So the first time I went to Louisiana. Actually, last year, Wasi and I, we took a road trip. We went all the way from Dallas to Baltimore. So we passed through like the random cities of Tennessee, like random farms, like goats, and like no one else lives, just like people. So first time I was in Louisiana, I was pretty scared. I was like, man, pretty scared. I don't know, these people are kind of weird. So I come to a gas station. I'm not used to seeing all these pickup trucks. Everyone here is driving pickup trucks. What's going on here? Why are people driving pickup trucks? Right? Because you come here, we come from the East Coast to the South, you're like, oh, what's going on? Right? You're like wondering, is there a shotgun in like your guys' truck or something? You're like scared, right? It really, I mean, without, even if I don't really want to stereotype, but unfortunately, it does have those connotations. So, even when I was in Dallas, some of my friends, they'd be like, so man, you're living in Dallas now, you're chewing on straw and stuff, like playing the banjo? Like, no, that's not right. But people have these really weird perceptions of the South, right? So anyway, I went to Louisiana, so it's like random no-name town. And like, I'm getting gas at the gas station. So this guy pulls up in a pickup truck really slowly, and he's blasting country music in his pickup truck. Right? You can imagine. And he looks at me, and he's like, what the? I starts looking up and down. And he says, you from Islam, boy? I say, no, I'm not. I'm from North Carolina. And that's something, I don't know, maybe that's even worse, right? So then I just, yeah. But then maybe I was surrounded by like a biker gang. Right? If you don't have them here in New York. I don't know, like where I'm from, we have biker gangs. Everyone drives their Harley and they're like going into biker gangs. So if you go up to the biker gangs, you maybe if you have an opportunity to ever talk to these guys, which you should, you should talk to them. You go up to them and you're like, hey brother, praise the Lord. You say that to them, right? And the biker dude looking at me, I'm like, they're like, who is this kid? But then if he hears me say that, he'll be like, yeah, man, I got you. We're on the same page. You're on board. You're all right? Right? He's gonna think you're all right? Because when you say Lord, he's thinking who? He's thinking Jesus, right? Jesus. But the word Jesus, I mean, not the word Jesus, the word Lord, right? We're talking one of the problems of using the word Lord. So the word Lord also has, like we said, entertainment connotation, Lord of the Rings, Lord this, Lord that. Has British connotations, House of Lords, or Lord Samuel has arrived, please prepare his carriage for departure. I don't know, right? But Lord in the Arabic sense, right? It actually meant owner. One of the meanings was owner. So when it comes to human relationships, the meaning was master, right? As in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the master, and we are the slaves. It was a master-slave relationship. And that actually sounds kind of bad in a way, like master-slave, why? It's very explicit, right? And in America, it's very tough to use language like master and slave, because when you think of master-slave, it conjures up images of slavery, right? A lot of our Muslim brothers and sisters were actually taken and traded in slavery, right? But actually, in Islam, when we say master and servant, that's actually exactly what we mean, right? Our relationship is not just worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, only we should be proudly accepting the role of a slave, right? And this is something that needs more discussion, obviously, but regardless, I mean, Lord is a pretty watered down translation. I think that, Allah's authority, the way it manifests itself with the world, Lord can be kind of controversial for a younger audience, right? When you say master, that's my master, that makes it clear to the modern reader that I'm Allah's slave. And the other thing is that if you say Lord in English, you don't really think of yourself in a role, right? Like he's Lord. Maybe I'm like the servant. At the most, he's the Lord and I'm the servant. But servant and slave is not the same thing, right? You guys are servants. Maybe if you work, you're a servant. You guys are providing services. You're corporate slaves, right? No, you're not corporate slaves. But sometimes it comes to that, right? But slavery is very, very different. Slavery, you don't get to pick your job description. You don't get to pick your hours. You don't even get to pick how much you get paid. And whatever you get is not what you deserve, right? Because the master is the one who has the right to give and the right not to give. And he owes you nothing. He owes you nothing because he owns you. Your property. Your property. There's no contract in slavery, right? There's no agreement. It's a very authoritarian relationship, right? There's no negotiation in slavery. In service, if you're a servant, there's negotiation. Right? You can say like, you know, I'll do like 10 things and then like I'll get a raise, or next year I'll get a promotion or something. Right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he says abd, it doesn't mean that it's as a slave, it doesn't mean a harsh relationship, right? It means as a master. And you know, generally when you think of a master, you would think of something like oppression. You think of someone as oppressive, right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says when he first introduced himself, he says, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, right? Ar-Rahman. That's how he introduced himself. That he's the only master full of mercy. Full of mercy. It's only the only master that you ever think of mercy is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why he introduced himself as Rabbul Alameen first. Then he said Ar-Rahman. Anyway.
On the other hand, master has also education dimension. Master something.
Yeah, that's a more British thing. That's a British thing. Master, like they have it at Harvard too. Some of my friends at Harvard, they have like house masters and like stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, I need to write these sentences down. Okay. Everyone just saw you, man. You're gonna rewind that, maybe like, mashallah, this guy. Okay, now, all of these have something in common. All of these have something in common. All of these words have something in common.
Ownership.
Of
That's the word of.
Right? So far, you know whatever comes after of is what? Jump. Right? Okay, so now I'm going to introduce you to your first phrase in English. By the way, guys, we started a little late, so I'm going to go over. If you want to leave, go ahead. I won't remember it forever or anything like that. Okay, so the word before of is called mudaf. The word before of is called mudaf. We used to say the word before of, but its real name is mudaf. Okay, so the word before of is called mudaf. The word after of is called mudaf ilay. Not mudaf. Mudaf. Okay. Yeah, sure. Mudaf. Write it in English for now. Okay, so tell me, what are the mudaf and mudaf ilay in these examples? Messenger of Allah. Messenger of Allah. Messenger of Allah. Mudaf is the word what? Before of. So what is the word before of? Messenger is mudaf, which means the word Allah. The word Allah is mudaf ilayh. What about Day of Judgment?
Day is mudaf.
My pen. My pen.
Pen is mudaf. Mine is mudaf.
Really?
Yes.
Are you sure?
It's kind of mine.
Now, so every mudaf ilay, as you probably know, because it's the word after of, is in what status? Jar. It's always jar. Always. So let's go back to page 24, and we see that whenever a pronoun is attached to an ism, the pronoun is in what status? Jar. It has to be jar, right? It can be nasab or jar, but ism is always jar because it's mudaf ilayh. Okay? So every time you have an attached pronoun, you have mudaf ilayh. Now, let's go back here. And you tell me, you don't need the English. You tell me, what's the mudaf and what's the mudaf ilayh? These words. Okay, so amruna, 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 mudaf mudaf ilayh. Amruna, amruna. Anyone alive here?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Huh? Amruna, amruna. Which word is mudaf? Which is mudaf ilayh?
You just answered.
I don't know if you're right. Could be wrong.
Somebody's
What about مكانكم مكانكم number 8 مكانكم مكانكم.
Places move up, door, you all, it's the
You know, guys, every time you say salam to someone, you're going to review your attached pronouns. So every time you say assalamu alaykum, all of you, now you're saying it to someone, you're like, hey man, why are you saying kum? Who's behind me? You think I got like multiple? You think I'm two-faced or something, or three-faced or something? And yeah, no, that's not what it is. But in reality, I mean, one of the interpretations is that you can say you're mentioning the angels. The other is it's more respectful, maybe if you want to say it. Right? It is one of the acknowledgement of the presence of angels. Okay. Now, let's get it here. Yes. أربعة أشهر. أربعة أشهر. But yeah, أربعة أشهر, number 13. أربعة أشهر. Sorry. أربعة أشهر. It is page 22. Sorry for being off today, guys. It's kind of an off day for me. I'm trying my best. أربعة أشهر. أربعة أشهر. Come on, guys. What is the mudaf? This is hard. It's hard on purpose, though.
Well, it's just 4 months, right?
So here's the point where I get to tell you that I've learned a lot, but we're still learning, right? So sometimes a lot of people are really excited. They want to learn everything very fast. We got to slow down, learn everything one at a time. Like I mean, it's not that I'm bragging, but I know a little bit of Arabic now, alhamdulillah. And that doesn't mean I have to teach you every single thing at once. You gotta slow down, right? Because it's just like if you eat everything. If you eat every single thing at once, you're gonna barf. So we don't want Arabic barf. So I don't know. It's probably really disgusting. So right, and even if I say I know a lot, it really what it means is I know a lot compared to you. Compared to a scholar, I don't know anything. I met some scholars that are crazy. There used to be one. There's an imam in Boston. His name's Khalid Nasr. He used to actually be at my masjid in North Carolina. Right?
Is he the one in the pastor?
No. That's but yeah, Khalid Nasr used to be in our masjid in North Carolina. He's like an incredible guy. By the way, we're like a breeding factory for scholarship. So, anyway, so Imam Khalid, he has like a PhD in Balagha from Azhar, and he has a doctorate in Hanafi fiqh, and he was an airport pilot in the Egyptian Air Force. The guy's pretty insane. He has like ijaza and all the different recitations of the Quran. Every single once in a while, he recites a different recitation. Actually, every rak'ah, he changes the recitation. Right. So actually, when I was younger, he used to lead Tarawih when I was a kid. So he would lead the Tarawih, and then he would say like this is one of the recitations. It's called Durai Kisai or Durai and Kisai, something like that. It was something really complicated. But he was reading, and he was like, سبح اسم ربك الأعلى. أعلى. الذي. And I'm like, what the heck? This kind of tajweed? What's going on here? Who is this guy? He's from Pakistan? Sounds like my people. The next guy, he's like, الذي خلق فسوي والذي قدر فهدي. I'm like, what's going on here? It's pretty weird, right? But SubhanAllah, this is actually a different recitation of the Quran. Right? So this dude, he actually memorized the Quran practically 7 different ways. Right? So pretty crazy people. When you get to meet these people, they're like, you meet the giants, you're like, I'm in kindergarten. You don't realize. You realize you can get pretty close, right? So I can help you understand as much as I can, but you guys got to put in the work, inshallah, right? So before we end, we need to give some formal definitions. So, what is a mudaf? I don't know. That's what I'm going to tell you. Okay, a mudaf is the word that comes before of. It's the word that comes before of. And it has to have 2 things. It has to have 2 things. How many things? 2 things. It has to be light. And it has to not have alif lam. Mudaf has to be light, and it cannot have alif lam. Like, no alif lam. Like, no alif lam. Okay? Easy to remember. Mudaf ilayh, you already know. What is it in? What status is it in? Jab. And that's all you need to know. So you're done. So you already know. Right? So when I say, if I give you a word, and I ask you, is this a mudaf? Is this a mudaf ilayh? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to the mudaf, which is the first word. And you're going to see, is it light? Is it light? I don't know. Is it light? Does it have L? I don't know. Let's go. Let's go to the page. Now let's go back to our example, which was أربعة أشهر. Now, I go to the first word, which was what? Mudaf. So I go to arba'ata and I'm like, yo, are you light? And he says, yeah, man, I'm light. And I'm like, well, do you have an alif lam?
No.
And he's like, oh, no, I don't. So then I say to arba'ata, okay, you know what, arba'at? You could be a mudaf. But let me just make sure. I got to go to your neighbor real quick. So let me just pay attention, pay a quick visit to your neighbors. It's a good sunnah, right? Visit the neighbors. They're visiting the neighbors. Then I ask Ashhurin, I'm like, Ashhurin, are you in Jab? Ashhurin, are you in Jab? Because mudaf ilayh, remember, the only thing it has to be in Jab. That's the only requirement. So I ask Ashhurin, I'm like, Ashhurin, are you in Jab? Yeah. Ashhurin's like, well, yes, sir, I do happen to be in the Jar status, if that's what you're asking. So then I'm like, Arba'at Ashhurin. That's a mudaf and mudaf ilayh. I go to Ayatillahi. Ayatillahi. I first go to ayat and I say, ayat, are you light? Are you light? Do you have alif lam? And ayat is like, nah, man. I got no alif lams. Better head over to my neighbor. So I go to the neighbor, I go to the word Allah, and I say, are you Jab? And the word Allah says, yes, I happen to be Jab. So it's a mudaf ilayh. Now, if I go to Ba'san Shadidan, I go to Ba'san and I say, Ba'san, are you light?
No.
No. Okay, well, there you go. Problem though. Now, what if I say, Ittakhadallahu, Ittakhadallahu, Ittakhadallah. I go to Ittakhada first and I say, Ittakhada, are you light? And Ittakhada is like, I don't know, B. Tell me. You got the notes in front of you, right? And then you're like, well, you might be light. But let me check out your neighbor. And then I go to the word Allah. Is the word Allah in Jab? No, so it's not a mudaf. It's not a mudaf ilayh. This is actually something more complicated. This is actually, one of them is actually a fa'il. But we don't have to worry about that. Right now we're using our litmus test. Our litmus test, no matter what the words are, is like, no alif lam for the mudaf. And once we have that, we go to the next word and we see if it's Jab. Okay? So, right, mudaf is always first. Because the word before of, right? It's the word before, so it's always first. So it's like messenger of Allah, messenger of,
Then we also changed around the name. We have like my messenger and my pen.
right, my messenger, my pen is just pen of mine. Pen of mine and my pen. I mean, my pen, that's just, it's rewritten, so you have to rearrange it, right? Once you rearrange it, pen of mine, pen of mine. So pen is the mudaf, right? So that's confusing. You gotta be on your toes for that stuff, right? So sometimes you're in a khutbah, there's a guy who like probably doesn't have too much experience, he's giving a khutbah, and he comes up, khutbah. Oh, before I say this, you guys know Rasulullah, Rasulullah, what does it mean? Messenger of Allah, messenger of Allah. You go to Rasul and you're like, Rasul, are you light? And Rasul is like, I'm light. And do you have an alif lam? He said, nope. Then I go to the word Allah and I say, are you jar? And the word Allah says, yes, I am. So then I make, because it's jar, jar means what? After of. So I get the meaning, messenger of Allah. So anyway, sometimes you might be in a khutbah, there's a guy who doesn't have too much experience, even in a khutbah, right? He might be new or something, but comes up. You guys hear قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, right? This guy comes up and he says قال رسول الله قال, like he's putting an alif lam on messenger, right? On Rasul. So he says قال رسول الله, right? And you know Arabic now. So the next time you hear that, you're gonna be like, no man, that's wrong. You can't have alone mudaf. Stop it. You're messing with this. You're messing around, right? Next time you hear someone say Al-Kitabullah, Al-Kitabullah, which we need to read, which our youth don't read, Al-Kitabullah, and they'd be like, uncle, I read a little bit, and it's actually Kitabullah. And they'd be like, well, mashallah, amazing. Where are you? Right? So now you're gonna be able to start telling. You should be able to start telling what's going on, right? So, inshallah, the mudaf, mudaf ilayh, always dependent on one another. Always dependent on one another. Now, it's kind of like you know, salah without wudu, right? So if you have a word, for example, maybe even if the mudaf doesn't have al and it's light, but the word next to it is not in jar, and it's not in mudaf ilayh. And then if the mudaf ilayh is in jar, but the mudaf is heavy or has al, there's not a mudaf ilayh, right? So it's kind of like salah and wudu, right? So there's a Quran. One time there's a Hafiz Sahib, right? He was teaching a student, and he always used to tell his students that there's no salat without wudu. Okay, no salat without wudu. And one of the students came up to him and said, "But there is salat without wudu." And he's like, "What are you talking about? You probably mean tayammum, right?" He's like, "Oh, I mean, like, there's no salat without wudu." He's like, "No, you mean tayammum." He's like, "No, salat without wudu is possible." And he's like, "How can it be possible? How can she sleep? How can it be possible?" And he says, "Well, I just did it. It's possible. I just did it. I prayed salat." So you don't want to be like the guy who prays salat without wudu. Okay? You don't want to have mudaf without mudaf ilayh. Always general principle. You try to check the mudaf. Check the mudaf ilayh before you check the mudaf. Right? Now, killer example. Hold on. All right. Now, usually we say Bismillah, right? But I'll remove the that to make things easier. So I say Bismillah. I'll take the B out. Ismi. I don't know. What do you think? What do you mudaf?
Like,
The word Allah is mudaf ilayh, right? So we say the name of Allah. Is the word Ar-Rahmani, Bismillahir-Rahmani, mudaf ilayh? I don't know. Bismillahi ar-Rahmani is. Could it be possible that ar-Rahmani is a mudaf ilay? Could it be possible?
Yeah.
Oh, it could be possible.
Yeah.
Really?
Because it's Bismillah.
I don't know. Could it be possible or not? So, actually, it could not. Well, we'll go over this next time, but this is actually one of the references for the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Let's end on this inshallah. I'm not gonna write the harakat, so hopefully you should know this. Maliki Yawmi. Yawmi. What's after? Ad-Din. Maliki Yawmi-Din. So, Maliki. You go up to Maliki first and you're like, yo, Maliki. Are you like?
Yeah.
Maliki means owner. Right? Makes judgments. And he's like, yeah, man, I mean, I don't know, you better ask my neighbor. So you go to Yomi. You say, Yomi, are you John? There's actually Yomi, you know, wait, so you must be a Mudaf, but actually Yomi, you look a little pale. Like usually Isms are supposed to be heavy, but like you're light. What's going on? And Yomi's like, well, I'm light and I don't have it out, so why don't you ask my neighbor? And you go to Ad-Din and you're like, are you in Jug status? And Ad-Din says what? I am. That's why you say, master of the day of judgment. So, Maliki is mudaf, Yawmi is mudaf ilay, and it's mudaf to Ad-Din. And it's mudaf. So we can have a string, right? We can have a string. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Arabic is kind of like math, pretty much. It's pretty cool. Pretty awesome. It's no surprise they discovered algebra. It's pretty much within the language, right? It's pretty embedded in the language. That's syntax. It's pretty awesome. Maliki Yawmi-Din, so that you guys got that. You guys. Now, anything else to go over? Let's see. Oh, well, I've been promising a Quranic gem. Should I go over it, or do you guys want to go? Go over it? No, let's go on. Okay, fine. All right, so let's pull it up. For all the youth watching on the stream, you guys will appreciate it. Okay, now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we just learned Mudaf, right? Now, I told you something before. I told you, if you put L on something, what does the meaning become? Right? What is masjid? I'm sorry, not masjid. What is the difference between masjid and al-masjid? Right, but in terms of meaning, masjid just means a masjid, right? Al-masjid is the masjid. So when I say something like, you know, kursi, a chair. Al-kursi, the chair, right? So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Surah Al-Qasas. It's talking about the story. We just learned. Oh, I actually forgot to tell you this. I'll tell you once we get it. He's talking about the story of Musa alayhi salam. He's giving the story. And basically Musa alayhi salam got taken away. Right? The army of Fir'aun came and they just snatched him away. They took him away. Well, they didn't take him away. They were looking for them. Because Fir'aun has sent out an alarm, not an alarm, but like a, what's that thing that like when the world was like in danger and they send like those red alerts or something? I don't know, what is it called?
Amber?
Yeah, Amber Alerts. So Fir'aun has sent out an Amber Alert every other year. And he was like, all these Egyptian people, all these Israeli people, all the Israeli kids need to be killed. Every single one of them. Like, Roger, sir, Roger, move in. So the soldiers would go into the villages. Back then, the Israelis actually were, they lived in an enclosed village. They were actually like pretty much like a concentration camp, if you want to say, right? So Israelis, they were, Musa Islam was amongst them, obviously, ethnically. So the soldiers come in and they're running and they're trying to look. They're trying to hear the sound of even a pinch, any baby that's crying, right? They're just waiting. And Musa alayhi salam's mother is getting so scared. She's like, man, I just hope like I don't want to lose my baby. She doesn't want to lose her baby, you know, because it's so hard to lose your baby. So eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually gives her the command to throw him in the river. Right? You guys hopefully know this stuff. Allah says, "Alqihi fil yam," throw him in the river. Can you imagine how hard it would be for a mother to throw her baby, a newborn baby, her young baby, in the river? Right? It's such a difficult thing to do. Now, as Musa alayhi salam went down the river, eventually he made his way into Pharaoh's palace, right? Pharaoh's palace. He made his way into Pharaoh's palace. And at Pharaoh's palace, he was crying a lot. Musa alayhi salam, he was a crybaby. Yeah, he was a crybaby. So he was just crying, and you know, if you guys know the story of Asya, who was the wife of Pharaoh, right? She was considered good though. She was considered one of the best women. But she was the one who actually convinced Pharaoh to let Musa stay at the house. So Asya comes and Musa is crying so much, he's a baby. And they can't get him to stop crying. So they try to find, like, maybe he's thirsty. Let's try to find him some milk. And you know, he just, as you guys know, newborns, obviously they drink from the mothers, right? So they try to find nurses all over the city. They're like, call all the nurses. We gotta find this kid. We gotta find him to calm down, right? We gotta find a way. We gotta find a way for him to stop crying. And obviously back then the walls weren't that strong as they are now, or as soundproof as they are now, right? So Musa alayhi salam's sister, his sister was also basically, she had kind of been following him, like, you know, parallel while he was going down the river, you know, like while he was basically sailing down the river, if you want to say, right? He was sailing down the river. Not really. It was actually a very rough ride, right? And his sister was following him along. And his sister, at the end of the river, Musa alayhi salam gets there. He gets into the palace, and now she hears him crying. She hears her brother crying. She hears her brother crying, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَحَرَّمْنَا عَلَيْهِ الْمَرَاضِعَ, that we actually made it haram on the lips of Musa alayhi salam to eat al-maradi', the milk from before. We had made it haram. Milk from any other mother except his own, right? Because they were trying to feed him milk. They were trying to get him to stop crying. But we actually made it haram on his body to accept the milk of anyone else from before. So his sister comes and she says, فَقَالَتْ, she, you know, what happened is the Pharaoh and the Asya and their posse, they're like, yo, we gotta find someone who's gonna feed this kid. So they're sending out emissaries into the city. It's like, anyone know who can feed this kid? Anyone have any milk? Anyone have anything? We have a crying kid in the palace. Someone help us. Right? So Musa alayhi salam's sister is very smart. She's very, very smart. So she comes up and she says, هل أدلكم على أهل بيت؟ هل أدلكم على أهل بيت؟ You know, I can. She doesn't say like, oh, hey, by the way, that's my brother. I know like his real mother, and like shoot her. No, she didn't say that, right? Because they're being prosecuted. But she's very smart. So she says, can I point you? Can I direct you? Maybe I can give you like some directions, like Google Maps, like right here, printed it out already for you. And you know, I know Ahli Baytin. There's like some family in like a house. A house. There's a family in a house. Not Ahlil Bayti. Because if she said Ahlil Bayti, that would mean that she knows who the people are and that she has some relationship with them. And that would ultimately mean that they would have to be killed. Or they would be slaughtered. You know, so they're actually being slaughtered, right? Because Yudhabbihu. Fir'aun was Yudhabbihu. It was not just Dhabaha, like Yadbahu was, right, to slaughter. But Dhabaha means to consistently, like, just kill someone like crazy, just go all out and slaughter people everywhere, right? So they would have been slaughtered. But she's so smart. She said, هل أدلكم على أهل بيت? Can I direct you to the house, to the family of a house? A house. She didn't say Ahlil Bayti. So just that, even that small alif lam missing there, you can look at that and you can say, wow, I would never notice that before. That's really interesting. It's really crazy. Musa alayhi salam's sister was so smart. She knew what she was doing. Right? And in the next ayah, وَرَدَدْنَاهُ إِلَىٰ أُمِّهِ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at the end of it all, He returned Musa alayhi salam to his mother. It's pretty crazy. You wouldn't see that in the middle of Ahli and Bayti, there's just a small nuance there. You wouldn't understand. until he's got to. Inshallah. Something nice to share and reflect on, inshallah, guys. So, have a good day. We'll see you next time. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Also, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Also, next week we're going to be here again. So, we don't take days off. No days off.